All right, so let's talk a little Sony for a bit, man. So I will do a quick spoiler review of Venom: Let There Be Carnage,
So
and you will talk about
I watch it.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I watch it too, but I don't really care to talk about it. Like it's just there's so much shit you could talk about that. In and out. I don't care.
All
In
right,
and
so
out.
say, so
I
so here's
really don't care. I really
yeah.
don't care.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? With Venom, Let There Be Carnage, right? Just to kick things off, right? We'll get to the Ghostbusters stuff afterwards, and don't worry, guys, it'll be spoiler free. Ricardo, spoiler
Yeah,
free,
yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah.
Because at least the excuse I have with Venom is that it's out on VOD right now. So y'all can check it out, and people already talk about this thing when it came out, right? And when it came out, no, I was actually surprised that people were fairly positive to it. I mean, people were
All right.
saying that it was an improvement over the first one, right?
Okay,
So,
so here's my thing. Like, okay,
uh,
it more or less it is roughly the kind of the same thing for the first one in my opinion. It's a slightly less coherent somehow, but it just did. Here's the thing: when the first one came out, I was like, well, it just marketed itself like a Transformers movie almost. It felt like a Transformers movie watching it, and then
right.
and Sony played the game to win when it comes to marketing. They get Eminem to do a hit song, and they constantly yelling Venom in your head, and they constantly
Get 'em,
advertising.
Venom, Venom.
Right, yeah, exactly. They constantly yelling Venom at you, now. Venom, right? And I thought, so when it made the 800 million, I remember I went to see that. I went to see that in fucking what call it? That place up north. Uh,
That movie done.
no movie above IMAX. So
Oh,
I had to,
you went Gemstone
no, I went
or
to,
40X?
I had to kill time. I had to kill
Oh,
time. So I had a meeting later. I had
oh,
about an
okay,
hour.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a little bit of time, and I had to kill some time. I was like, all right, well, let me watch Venom. Let me go see it. And when I saw it, I was like, all right, this is terrible. But I know it would make money. So when everybody was melting down, oh, it have 100. Oh, it makes so much money, and I was like, no, they played the game to win. That's it. Like they played the game to win. It was good. It was well marketed in that sense. That's it. So when the second one come out now, it's like, all right, it's a slight. The only thing that this one is, it's a slightly leaner movie. I don't care about any of it in terms of like the characterization. Like it had what's the character name by Screech, whoever it is. Terrible
It's
characterization for
Screech.
everybody.
That's
And
a
then
good one. No,
and then
Shriek.
and
Shriek.
then Streak, right? And then Carnage, and then Carnage himself, and all of that bouncing off is total nonsense. But again, they market according to what they market. They know the audience. They know it how people coming to see this. They play the game to win. Sony's really smart in that way. Like they still know the old school marketing tricks still work. Like what if the internet doesn't exist? That's how they market. That's how it feels like.
It's like the 90s,
It's like the 90s.
remember? Yeah.
It's a fucking
And if you
90s.
look at the first one in particular, like
Yeah.
some throwback 90s superhero movie,
Yep.
it kind of makes sense,
It's
even
like
right
watching
now to
Spawn. It's like
having
watching Spawn
Eminem
or
do
something.
the theme song.
Yeah, yeah, it's like watching Spawn or something. That's basically what it feels like. Yeah,
Spawn.
or some
Uh,
bullshit like
uh,
that. Yeah,
I was thinking Batman Forever, right? But
right.
Spawn,
Whatever.
yes, Spawn could be Spawn's up there as well, right? Yeah.
Right. Anyway, well,
Right.
you go ahead with your review. I
Fine,
I,
fine,
I will
fine.
give him a score. I'll give him a score. But you just do the entire review because I have zero patience for this bullshit. Whatever, go
I
ahead.
know, I know, I know.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, right, like I actually re-listened to our review of Venom back in 2018, right? And I remember giving this 2.5 out of 5, right? I know you
Yeah,
gave it like
I
a
forget my
two.
score.
I think it was. I think you give it like a 2 out of 5, the
Yeah, I
equivalent of
hated
that, right?
it. Hated
Yeah.
it.
So I was generally fatic. I kind of saw what he was trying to do, but it was
Right.
just badly made, just poorly made, I should say, right? But the funny thing is, right? So people say, "Oh, it's a slight improvement over the first one," all that kind of stuff, right? So here's what your boy do. I actually watch both movies back to back because I had
Okay,
time.
okay. Yeah, you have time.
Yeah,
Listen, I know that's how you can
I
waste
don't
your
know
time
how
like
I
that,
had time to do this, sir. I
I
don't
can't
know,
do
but
that,
I just did.
Like I'll watch something because I had to watch it, but I cannot say, well, I need to watch this previous thing. Especially for something like this. Like you
I
know,
know, but no,
I
it was an experiment. It was an experiment. I wanted
right,
to
yeah,
I
let's hear
wanted
it.
to test something out, right? And just to jump into the review itself, here's the funny thing. I actually enjoyed the first one more than this, sir.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let
Right,
me tell you
okay.
why, right?
Yeah, yeah, no sense.
Now,
I do too, by the way. Yeah.
now, to be fair, yes, you're right. It's a leaner film. Like, they become a leaner film, right?
Yeah.
Because I felt like the first one, a lot of people felt the same way too. It took took a really long while to get the story picking up. It was just all this stuff about, oh, Eddie Brock's down on his luck and his wife, his fiance, sorry, broke up with him, and oh, nobody likes him, no, and all that kind
Right.
of stuff. And it's just like
Right.
yawn. We get to the Venom shit already, right? So at least this one doesn't take too long, right? Fine, fair enough, right? Although my first warning sign should have been, oh, this movie gonna be, 97 minutes, so roughly 90 minutes plus credits. I was like, okay. You know what I mean? So, but to be fair, it's a leaner film, it gets to the point, right? Fine. But at its fundamental level, right, the first movie at least gave you action, at least it gave you some Venom action though. And what
Right.
I mean is, right, so like the first moments with oh gosh, the bad guy Malik, I say Rami Malik, oops, Riz Ahmed's character from the first film, his goons that are going up against Eddie. And you know those moments with him fighting him in the apartment and then the chase scene and all that stuff. Like
Right.
all that stuff, like when I watch it again, is I mean it's generic ass shit, but it still works.
Right.
Is how I describe it is like if you have nothing to do on a Saturday night, this is the kind of movie you can kind of just pop, just I was gonna say pop into like a DVD player or whatnot, right? But why would
Right.
I
Right.
want this at home media? But yeah, it's the kind of show like if you just genuinely have nothing to do on a Saturday night, you
Right.
watch it. You have
Right.
two beers and you enjoy it for what it is,
Yeah.
right? You laugh at
Exactly.
how bad the dialogue is and the editing. Yeah, the editing was trash, but you still kind of enjoy it as a schlocky film, especially if you look at it as a throwback 90s not action
Right.
superhero film.
Right.
It kind of works there. But I don't know what was the decision here with this one, boy, but like all the Venom action get pushed completely to the back now, because I counted literally there are two scenes involving Venom slash Eddie Brock, like being the badasses that they are now. And
Right.
that is just this throwaway moment with Venom trying to save some woman from getting robbed, and then it
Right.
leads to the big issue I have with the movie. I'll get to that in a bit, and then the final scene with him fighting Carnage, right?
Right.
So just the one thing that just pissed me off throughout the entirety of the show thread.
Yeah.
You want to explore the dynamic between Eddie and Venom, fine, right? This is the thing
Right.
that people remember. People enjoy, quote unquote, seeing Tom Hardy be a goofball and a madman,
Right.
even though it reminded too much of Shia LaBeouf from Transformers
Right.
Revenge of the Fallen, which I
Yep.
hate. A lot
Yep.
of people hate it, right? But I'm goofy and something's in me, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like
They
yeah,
do that.
like in the first one, the whole thing with the lobsters and things, like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
I
it's
get
like
what you're
a,
going for.
like,
It's
yeah.
kind of funny, and I remember laughing at that. Like it's stupid, but I laugh.
It
You know,
is. It is
right?
stupid,
But
but
you laugh at it.
Tom really commit to that. Like
Yeah, exactly. Commit
it's
to the
like
bit.
he just
Right.
like humiliate himself on screen,
Right.
but it's
Exactly.
all
Right.
for the benefit of the movie, right? And all to make us laugh, if you want to say that, right? But here it just turns out to be this lovers quarrel basically, because like
Right.
like Venom saying, oh, you don't appreciate me and we belong together and all that kind of stuff, right? And then he's like, no, I don't need you. I want to be with Anne, played once again by Michelle Williams, who is still with the doctor, whatever his name, Dan. Like they're still together, you know what I mean? But
Right.
he's still
Right. Right.
like
Right.
fighting over
Yeah.
her and all that kind of stuff. But there's just so much time with them separate now.
Right.
And I find that was against like what we expected to see now. There was a funny moment though with Venom. Like this is before they had the fight. Yeah, a fight right in the apartment before they literally like before Venom leaves, right? Yeah, remember. Think about it like if there's a couple, right? And this Venom going, Eddie,
Right.
Eddie. I was just laughing at that part. That was so hilarious. Yeah, Tom Hardy as Venom, do the Venom voice is hilarious in my opinion.
Right.
It's so bad, but it works, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, boy, like, okay, fine. You want to show that they need each other and all that kind of stuff too. And apparently people like this. People found it was cute and like, oh, Venom and Eddie was a item,
Right. Right.
right? And
Yeah.
then they just had to go far with it with these like painfully awkward moments, like a moment with him going to this club. I had
Okay.
to talk about the club. I had to talk about the club, right? And
Right. Right. Right.
him,
Right. Oh, I
and
forget I was not
yeah,
thinking
him,
you.
him
Right.
going
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
stage and talking about,
Yeah.
I'm out of Eddie's closet. You see
Right,
that?
right.
Like,
Yeah, I remember. Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So,
It was a short scene. I was like, "Oh, they're really doing this," and it was just so dumb. I just rolled my eyes at it. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
you know,
good.
and I get it. Y'all want to is queer coding basically.
Right, right,
That's what you're
right,
trying
right.
to do. But it's played for laughs now. You know what I mean? And it just felt like just this kind of below average. Like, why do we need this, right? If you want to explore that, fine, but it could have done it in a much better way, right? But I had to talk about the club scene quickly, right? So, points for bringing McGill, Lil Sims into this film, right?
Okay, right.
Lil Sims being a British rapper, I mean, dope artist, right? I still have yet to listen to a new album, but I did listen to Grey Era, right? But the funny thing is, right? When I did listen to that album, right? One of my favorite albums, in my opinion, right? Um, there was a song in it called Venom. And
Right.
ironically, this song came out right after um, Eminem's Venom, right?
Right. Okay. So
A wild guess
I know
what
the
the
song.
song
The
Sim
only
sing.
reason, yeah, the only reason I know the song, is because of TikTok. Like a lot of is a TikTok trend song.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
it's like da
Yes.
da 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 and
Yeah,
Venom.
Venom.
Dun,
Yeah,
dun,
yeah.
dun, dun, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That was
I
yeah. Right.
cringe at that, like, oh my
Right.
god. Like, because like when I saw Little Sims I was like in my head,
Right.
oh, she gonna perform some new song of she album, right? She performed Venom. I cringe, boy. I cringe. I kind of curl up in that ball like, oh gosh, Sudi, why? It's almost like they just heard the song after the fact, like, oh my god, she have a song called Venom too. Let's have this song. I cringe at that part though. That was bad. That was bad. I feel sorry for Lil Sims for that scene though. But yeah, boy. I just hated the fact that Eddie and Venom was separate. And don't tell me, oh, is the sequel thing, it's like Spider-Man 2 when Peter Parker didn't want to be Spider-Man
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah.
blah blah. Don't no, stop it. Don't even bring that up. No. And then it get even worse now with Carnage, played by Woody Harrelson, and it's how it's how he
Yeah.
became Carnage, right?
He playing Cassidy. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I honestly forgot how, like, I only
How
saw
bad
like
it
the
is.
first trailer though. I didn't bother to watch the second one, right? So I kind of forgot how he became Carnage though.
Right.
But when you see it play out though, and yes, I'm going into spoilers, so I might as well see it.
Right.
There's a scuffle and Cletus actually bites
He bite.
Eddie.
Right. He bite him. Yeah.
So
He say it don't taste like blood or something like
yeah,
that. I've
so
heard.
so so yeah, so Eddie's blood now is in Cletus, and that turns him into
Right.
Carnage. And
Right.
Carnage suddenly is like, "Oh, you're my father, and I want to kill you because you're my father," right?
Right.
And Carnage have hacking powers, like literally he could use his like fingers, and like relativity to tree kind of shit, and like stick it
Right.
into like a computer and hack into into systems, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Who's all this? Who's all this? All that
What?
come. Yeah.
And it get even
Yeah.
worse now. The character is Shriek by play my McGill, Naomi Harris. Like, why?
You
Why
know.
you? Why
Yeah. Yeah.
you? What's
We
everybody?
take her.
Why you? And true, typical Sony, we Marvel, but we not really Marvel kind of thing. They don't even explain how she gets she powers, because in our heads when we saw the first trailer, we assumed that she was a symbiote tuner,
No,
like
she's like
like one of it grafted onto her, and
yeah. I think
that's
she's a
what give her the
mutant.
powers now.
Yeah, I think she's
Yeah,
a mutant.
she is a mutant, but they don't say
Right.
it. It's
Yeah.
just, well,
I
she
just know
has
that from the comic.
sound screams. That's it. That's all she does. That's the reasoning we get. No, oh, maybe she has the, I don't know, a mutant gene, or whatever it is. Just, well,
Right.
she
Yeah.
could scream and
Right.
destroy stuff, right? Yeah.
I just know as the I just know as in the comic as a mutant character. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, but
Yeah.
in my head, I really thought that she was going to be related to the whole symbiotes thing now. And speaking of that, though, no symbiotes really. Like, I thought, like, because in the first movie, even though they spent a long time establishing it, they say, well, it have different ones, and it's all over the universe and blah blah blah. So I thought, well, like an end result of what happened in the first film, maybe one of them escape, and that's how Cletus become Carnage, or Shriek becomes Shriek. Is like, but no, 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 it's just you bite a man, you become Carnage, right? Whatever, right? And I hated this whole thing. Like, you're thinking, you're not really sure what Carnage plan is, but my God, Chad, I just want to free Shriek, and we
Right.
want to have a wedding, and we
Yeah,
want
he
to
was
get
in love
back
with
at
her.
everybody who tormented us when we were in
Right.
some boarding house or
Anybody,
school,
right?
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I forgot it was. Yeah.
God, boy,
Yeah,
really?
real.
Really, to the point that you have a flashback out of nowhere. You have the actor who played young Cletus, and if you notice carefully, you realize that it's Woody's voice, and it bad, it real bad, it terrible. even have a moment with a little bit of animation to explain some kind of big thing
Right.
about,
I saw
well,
that.
this is why Carnage is doing this thing, you know what I mean? Because he's a serial killer, he's a psycho. So of course he had to talk in riddles and puzzles, and it's up to Eddie to figure it out. And it's like really, but like all this is just for a wedding. That's what it is.
Right.
It all boils down to a wedding.
Yep.
And in the
Yeah.
process, oh, let's kidnap Anne and let's kidnap Dan. So,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie comes and Eddie and Venom had a make back up, literally kiss man make back up and then fight and all that kind of thing. And uh,
Get weird.
it was just rough, right?
Yeah.
And again, it too like you're thinking, oh my god, Venom and Carnage. It just ends up being yet another CG, you know, clusterfuck of just
Yep.
you know blobs just fight each other just once again, and there's no excitement, no thrills in it. They wasted Shriek in this. She was just there, and then all of a sudden just changed her mind, like, oh my god, why are you acting like this? And
Yeah.
it's like all of a sudden, like, leave me alone, all that kind of stuff. And points for the show, right? Points for the show, right? For having Shriek be Carnage's girlfriend of sorts. Even though if you remember, symbiotes can, like sound is a weakness, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so why? I mean, of course, let's have a character who generates sound waves and all that kind of stuff. Now let her be the girlfriend, right? So put two and two together, right? Whatever. So yeah, um, even the song itself, though the new song that they get for this, though, I don't even remember the name of it. I saw the video of it, but the oh, okay, it's called Last One Standing, right? It's with Skylar Grey, Eminem, Polo G, and Mozzie, right? No
Okay.
disrespect to those artists, though, but it 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 oddly pales in comparison to what we got with the first film with Venom. Because I mean, say what you want about how bad the hook is, at least you remember the hook. The hook was catchy, though. We were all like, Venom, I'm trying to get him, Venom. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
But this one was just over dramatic, and it's M, right? It's M just doing what M does when he brings his Skylar Grey, we gonna be like real over dramatic, soap opera-ish kind of shit, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all, right? But before we get to rated, though, we had to talk about that post-credit scene. But well, I should
Well,
say,
yeah. I know
kind
it is.
of.
Yeah.
Well, actually, not even. Okay, so we forgot to mention Steve Greer was in this because
Right.
he was just pointless in this show. So basically, he's a cop now, but he working with Bruckner with Eddie.
Right. Right. Mm.
They keep talking about, oh, what do you know? What do you know? Who's this guy? Who's this guy running around killing people? You know something. I know you know something, right? And then, like, for some reason, in the end, like, near the end, like, you see his eyes glow up. So, like, you're not really sure, like, what happened? Like, we thought that he died or something like that, but we don't know. Like, all of a sudden, his eyes suddenly glow. I was just supposed to be like, oh my God, like, something going to happen to him. And we never see what happened, right? But yeah, post-credit scene that everybody was talking about, right? Here's the catch with it. I get where they're coming from with it. It's a kind of interesting call. I'm even gonna talk about the decision to go all Dark Knight and have Venom flee the cops because he's a
Right.
bad guy or whatever it is, and in order to save his friends he must be on the run. Like that
Right.
literally lifted from the Dark Knight, right? The
Right.
magnificent conclusion to that, right? And
Yeah.
then in some, not even some island, some beach somewhere,
Right.
and again, queer coding, right? That's all I'll say, right? In the worst way, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, so there's day, and then because you're doing spoilers, everything kind of reverts now to the Spider-Man MCU universe because
Right.
you actually
I saw that.
you actually see the news report
Mm.
with J. Jonah Jameson saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
Peter Parker Spider-Man," right? So we
And
see
you lick
that,
the
right?
screen. Yeah. You gotta lick the monitor. Yeah.
Yeah, but the catch though is what happens with the flashing lights basically, and I assume I think it's probably clear enough. It's an end result of Doctor Doom's Doctor Strange's spell that we will see play out in
Right.
No Way Home. It's clearly
Right.
that. It's clearly that.
Right.
That's
Right.
what they're aiming at, right?
Right.
And all this is good, and they could have just kind of had it at that cliffhanger where people are like, oh my god, I want to see what happened next, right? And then it just literally shoot itself in the foot now because you have a moment with some guy coming in like, hey,
Bam.
what are you doing in here?
Yeah. They had to make a joke. Whatever. I
And he
saw
had
that.
to make it a joke, and it just
Yeah.
ends awkwardly, and it
Yeah.
stops. And I'm like, why was he pointing to this, right? So yeah, you had a great post credit scene in the tip of your fingers, and you just
Yep.
drop it because,
You
well,
know.
it's Venom and it's Sony, so you had to tell a shitty joke. So
Yeah.
haha. But yeah,
Yeah.
overall, hated this. I actually prefer the first one over this though.
Me
That
too.
really
Me
is
too.
seen a lot by.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, this one gets a 2 out of 5. I want my money back. Yes, I watch it at home. I want my money and my time back. This is an absolute waste. I really, really don't know why people. I think I know why. I think I know why people say that this is better than the first one. Because y'all haven't seen the first one since it came out. That's why. Y'all didn't do like me and sit down and rewatch the first film
Yeah.
and compare to this one. So y'all going off for what all you remember, which wasn't much. So
Right.
that's why they're saying, oh, this is
I
better. This is why I like this one so much. It's like, no, this one is worse, Chad. I'm sorry, it's just worse. But
yeah,
yeah, Ricardo, anything you
yeah,
want to weigh and
yeah,
rating?
my I don't know. My rating is like close to like a 2 out of 10, or maybe a 3 out of 10. So that's like a 1 out of 5. Yeah, this was just
Wow, you going
yeah.
real low with this
No,
though.
yeah,
I,
this
I
was
should go
just
lower, but I should go
no, yeah,
lower, but because it's I saw what they was trying to do. I saw what they were trying to do, but it's just a majority of it just fell flat. And the worst, the biggest crime for me though was just splitting Eddie and Venom and having them just have this lovers quarrel just because. And not enough
right.
like Venom action. You're like that's what we pay money to see, right? Whatever, go
I
on.
yeah, this was just complete fucking bullshit, dude. Like it's just like total nonsense, pointless existence. They could have do so much more with it, but again, it's because they're trying to do the Venom without Spider-Man crap. Like nothing working or making sense. Whatever. Moving on. It's just a waste of my time. Yes, it is going to be on my worst of the list of the year.
It's already there for me,
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
It's there, yeah.
This was just
For
a
all we
waste
know,
of
it
my
probably
time,
might be
dude.
a top 5 for me, boy. But there was
Yeah,
so much potential with this, boy. So
yeah.
much, you know.
Whatever. Moving on.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I can't in good conscience say potential per se. But like, it's like they didn't try, Jared. It's like, what, man?
yeah, and last thing before we move on to Ghostbusters, shit. Yes, out of the many bad things in the first film, okay, the Eddie Venom thing dynamic, okay, fine. But it can't just be about that, Jed. Like it really does feel like the show just is centered around this, and it really couldn't tell a possible story around it. And they didn't even have anything much to do with Khan. It's just Woody Harrelson just reprising his natural born killer's
Right,
performance. Basically,
right.
I'm the
Yeah,
crazy guy, and I'm so
yeah,
crazy, and
yeah, exactly.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but all for what? Because you want to marry some chick who could scream loud and again,
Yeah,
isn't sound a
because
weakness for
yeah, the song right.
symbiotes?
The song is a weakness. Yeah,
God, boy.
yeah, rubbish.
Anyway, so Ghostbusters Afterlife, haven't seen it in theaters.
Yes.
It's Sony again, and well, I would say before you start, I hearing a lot of talk about the nostalgia in it, the nostalgia factor being a little too
Yeah,
much, not working, being over reliant on it. But
yeah.
anyway,
Well,
take it away. Yeah.
it was good. Well, we'll talk about that. But yeah, that is a big part of the my issue with it. But you we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so yeah, take it away, Ghostbusters
All
Afterlife.
right.
What was it about?
So yeah. So what it is about is so it's about yeah, about 30 years after the first film, right? They just basically Egon moves to somewhere in middle of America. I'm not sure where exactly. I think it's Nebraska or Oklahoma, I think, or something like that. Where um apparently you have like a cult of Gozer make a mine. Like, I wasn't too clear. But
Serious. So they bring
right,
him out the whole Goza villain then.
right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, yeah, no. Like she comes back out, right? Like straight up. Or well, it goes on non-binary. I'm not really sure what going on goes on, right? Um,
Okay.
yeah. But it it is just 30 years after is the main character you could argue is Egon's granddaughter, right? And grandson. That's the two main characters.
Right, right,
And
right.
they kind of broke and is what's she name by Carrie Coon? I forget the character she's name she plays. I think it's Callie or something like that. But she kind of broke. She went to the farm, she get kicked out of the city. They get they gone back to this farm and they basically like the granddaughter kind of piecing together what the grandfather do. And then Paul Rudd's character, um, he's like the teacher or something like that, and he basically like he remember the Ghostbusters. He's this big Ghostbusters nerd. And he kind of like teaching them everything about Ghostbusters and how they do it. They had to find the traps. They had to find I forget the new. ghost, but it's like the new Slimer, and they chasing on this new ghost in this thing. All of it good until the last act, and then
Oh boy.
and then they decide to just do this incredible. I don't know what's the word, boy. Ingratiating, cloying, but they just open the floodgates of nostalgia, Dread. And it was a little ridiculous. It was real ridiculous.
I could imagine how that plays out.
And I
Like
watched it.
probably
And
like redoing scenes from the first film. That's
dude,
the idea. Get to that.
it is the first film. Like holy shit, Dread. Like what
Wow,
they do with that
boy.
Dread. And like look, okay. So my attitude towards the 2016 film. Let's go back to the 2016 film.
Yes,
Just so
yes, yes,
that's a
yes.
context.
Which
And
I don't hate, but I don't love Nina. I
this
know some
this is
people
why
like
I didn't want to this is
test the
why
show, but
yeah.
I saw it like I saw
This,
the attempt, but you know.
this is why I didn't want to get into the mental energy of He-Man, because it has some mental energy bullshit with this as well. But yeah, back then I didn't think it was that bad, but I really thought they could have punched up that script a lot more. And but it had like a good reboot idea of what it was trying to go for. In terms of like the new Ghostbusters, what to do with it and why. This one, it take the exact extreme opposite problem, where it's too much nostalgia and too much thing. It's like that one just tried to do the first film in terms of the schlubby comedy aspect of it, where there's a bunch of schlubby guys and they turn something that is essentially mystical as in terms of just pest control. Right? They they just make it into a business, which is fun. That's a good joke. That's what made Ghostbusters work. The first Ghostbusters was brilliant for that. That's why it worked. Second Ghostbusters didn't work all that well, and I put the second Ghostbusters and the 2016 film around the same quality. They just
Yeah,
you can't get lightning to strike twice.
that's true.
Um,
That's true.
but that's the problem. This one decide, nah. They just decide they take the whole nostalgia thing and apply it in what's so weird about it, right? Is that like why it have so much reverence for like the past now? And it don't make any sense. Like it's played so straight because
Hmm.
it's basically like remember Steven Spielberg movie the other day with the alien thing? Shit. It's up in my mind, but so sorry,
Uh,
not Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams. Right.
or Super 8? No.
Super 8, right. It had that Super 8 vibe to everything, where everything is
By the
about
way, anybody remember Super 8?
nobody remembers Super
I
8.
remember
Why?
how the hype
Why?
was through the roof because
Yeah.
when that movie come out, you know.
No
But
one
after it come out, like boy,
exactly.
people even remember
You know
that
what?
show, Trent.
You know why nobody's remember that? It's that is the exact same problem this have. That cloying appeal to the past for people
Right.
more talented than you, and you miss the point of why them old things work. Right? That's J.J. Abrams in my look. I think J.J. Abrams is a talented dude, but holy shit, he just misapply his talent in all the wrong places, Dread. Anyway, this have the same
Star
problem.
Trek.
Yeah.
Sorry, Star
Well,
Wars. Anyone?
Star Wars
Yeah,
especially. Not Star Trek.
Star
Star
Trek could
Trek
get
was
past. Star Trek could get past, but Star
well,
Wars, boy.
one of it. Well, it's the same problem. Same whatever. I ain't gonna get into
Right.
that. But the point
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
it had the exact same problem. And it's like they get the son of Ivan Reichman is Reichman's son coming back. And
What?
yeah, well, he direct this one. So it's
Okay, okay. Right.
Reichman's son come back now. And it's like they get everything. And then they basically what they do at the end is too much, Dread. It's too like I know it have people who like this bullshit, but I watch it and I was like, nah boy, this is nonsense, Dread. This is cloying nonsense. Too much appeal to nostalgia. And here's the thing, I know they're gonna do some shit like this, but the thing just feels so grotesque, Dread. Like what they do. And like, nah, boy, you're fucking serious with this, Dread? They actually fucking do this, Dread. But basically everything is about nostalgia and nostalgia and nostalgia, and then they just basically redo the plot of the first one, but they take it a little more seriously, kind of. But because it's kids, like the idea is that, well, what adults find, like that's what I think they're going for. Like what adults find as banal and basic and just kind of you're supposed to just kind of dismiss and roll your eyes at, they will children take seriously because it's on the kid's perspective in terms of the story. And I get what they're going for in terms of like, the Egon and his family and what they're trying to do. But what they do at the end is like, nah, man, too much, enough. I didn't hate it. I can't say in good conscience I hate it. Part of me
Right.
would have
But there's some good, right? Is there
no, no,
any?
no. That was it. That first two acts wasn't so bad. Like it was
Right.
building up to and then the third act was like, nah, boy. Like I get what they do, but it's a complete black hole of nostalgia rubbish that don't work at all. And I hated it. But as I said, if something like this, because we so past the point of like, look, we all postmodern and ironic, like we postmodern at this point, right? And it have no like appeal to enemy to win me over unless you're gonna really do something revolutionary with your ideas and your storytelling. Very few people are gonna have the chance to do that. So unless you're just doing it, you're executing it in a typical good way, but like it's not that special, like what the MCU doing or something like that, fine. Or if you're doing something really interesting, fine. Or if you're doing something like modern, but we didn't get enough of it, but we're doing something like feeling like progress in terms of new styles of storytelling, like say the Expanse, for example, in my opinion, fine. This, I sick it enough. Again, I don't know if it's for me because I'm too old for this, but it have to be for me. Like I can't like it's supposed to be for children, but what child would like this? Because no child have any working memories of Ghostbusters. So like I don't know who
They
it's for.
remember their parents probably harping on how
That is the
amazing and
problem.
how awesome it
Exactly. It's
is,
just the
right?
whole thing just feel like like you have to bury the next generation in our toys. Like it's that. And it was too much shit. It was real nonsense. I hated it. But I could imagine somebody somewhere like a family, like it have that kind of because the working comparison is Star Wars The Force Awakens. Like it's Star Wars The Force Awakens, but for Ghostbusters. And much like how I didn't really care for Star Wars The Force Awakens, same problem. It's have the exact same issue I have with this. But the thing is, with Star Wars The Force Awakens, I didn't know they would do that shit. So my brain already acclimate to anytime somebody come with this bullshit, I will like immediately reject it at this point. I'm completely allergic to this kind of nostalgia at this point. Enough. Personally, I hated it, but it's still very well made. Like I can't take that away. Reichman is a talented director. He's as talented as his dad was in many ways. Well, we would debate if he is as talented, but I think he's pretty talented. It's fine, but he should have. I don't know, but he could have come up with something new. The board cartoon had more interesting ideas than this. Do something like that. It had that same problem now. Like, dude, they
Right.
had, you have 3 decades of material to pull from, and this is what they went with. Enough. Whatever.
Yeah.
Rating. Uh, I'll get a 6 out of 10 ultimately, mostly because it's
All
still
right. All
reasonably
right.
well made. And if you're not too caught up in Ghostbusters, you probably shouldn't care. But this was a fucking salesman, like a goddamn vacuum salesman, Dread. Like that sliminess it just feels so slimy and manipulative, and I hated it. But I old enough to say that. I'll admit, if I saw this 10 years ago, I'd have probably be like vibes it. I'd be like, hey, that was real Dread. Yeah, okay, that wasn't so bad. But not now, man. Nah, man. Not now. Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Sony does it again, boy. Sony does it again.